Hey guys. Hello, 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 hello. I'm trying to go live with the runway check. The run, the run. Okay, hello. Hi guys. Hello. Hey everybody. I was supposed to be live on another live. However, it's not allowing us to add people. So we're going to try do this from my side. Let's see. View request, go live. It's fine. So you will not see me leading this interview. She will be leading the interview. It is Gina Madonsela's interview. She will be leading it. Thank you so much on, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hi.
Hey,
Thank you for that.
no
Sure.
problem at all.
Like, I
How
have
are
no
you
idea
doing?
what is happening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm quietly orange and yellow. What's going on here? Huh?
Ring light.
This
What's
is
going
my
on with your ring light?
you don't understand. As my manager calls me to say, please don't forget you've got an Instagram live tonight. I'm like, yo, Rato, I don't even think I have a ring light.
Oh, my word.
But it works. But it works. It's working. How you
Listen,
doing?
we'll take that. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm exhausted. It's been one of those long days where you've kind of got like things like in isolation. So they're not coming
Yeah.
together all at once. So I'm here and then I have to drop this and go somewhere else, gotta drop this. Then I have to remember,
Yeah.
oh, you need to go collect your food. So as I was collecting my food, I get a call to say, don't forget you've got a live. So now I'm rushing from collecting my food. So it's been one of those
Oh,
days.
my. Right. Okay, so hopefully it's about to get better because I'm hoping this is a subject that you really, really love. This is your thing, man. Like you just do this. You wake up and are just, financial fitness bunny. So, I mean, thank you so much for agreeing, Nicolette. I mean, it really is an honor. I have bumped into you once, a couple of years ago. I don't know if you'll remember. You were actually so gracious, even back in the day. I was like, hey, Nicolette, I just started seeing your videos. I was like, Nicolette, please, I mean, me and my friends are trying to do this thing. Can you please just come and talk to us about money? You actually agreed verbally, and then I tried to inbox you, and then obviously, yeah, whatever, fell through the ways. But I mean, I want to just give you an acknowledgement, before we start, because I think it's important for us to, just recognize people that are doing things that, are empowering other people, things that are, making sure that us as the minority, business owners and people in this country are actually moving forward, right? And so, I mean, I'm just gonna, for everybody that's just joining us now, don't be surprised. This was my interview due to technical issues. Nicolette obviously had to go live, and I'm grateful for that as well. But I'm just gonna lead us then to questions. I just want to know first thing, Nicolette, what is your why? Like, what is the reason that you put out content about money, educating people about money? What is the reason why? Why money?
You know, as I was watching you when we were starting off on your channel and you were explaining that you're a business coach and you're here to help small businesses really be the best that they can be, there was a thought that crossed my mind that I was like, oh my goodness, we have to be grateful to people like you, Dina, because running a small business is not easy. You are literally the salesperson, you are the person who's receiving briefs, you are the accountant, you are the tax person, you're doing everything by yourself. And to know that there are people like yourself that are available to be able to assist people, I think really kudos to you. And I couldn't have started this without really also acknowledging some of the work that you do, because I think it's absolutely insane to it's insane for one person to be a business owner. It's even more insane to try and coach those insane people. But I think in terms of asking what is my why, I think my why has taken quite a lot of time for me to kind of figure out. And I think even in 2021, it's very difficult for me to say, this is my why, this is why I do certain things. Because, with any day, there's going to be bad days, going to be good days, going to be days when you are really frustrated because you can't help anybody. There'll be days when you are helping somebody and they send you a message to say, dude, that house I was trying to buy, I finally got the loan, or I finally bought the house, I finally bought the car, I finally got the job, or I finally was able to bring down my interest rate. So there are days when it's really exciting and it's great. And then there are days when somebody's like, this is where I need help with budgeting. And you look at their situation and you can see, Guti, the situation actually needs far more than just budgeting, you know, and you don't want to be that person that brings this news to say, listen, you have not been doing well. We need to change certain things about you. And then there are days where people are like, oh, you're not qualified to do this. Stop doing this. This is not for you. Stop doing this. You know, you're giving people bad financial advice. So I think my why is kind of wrapped around a lot of reasons as to why I'm here. One of the things that I have noticed is that, let me tell you, I have tried to leave this thing. I have tried to stop doing this. I have said, you know what? And move on with my life. And then something keeps coming back to say, no, dude, whatever you've got. And I think it's something that my father taught me from a young age. My father used to say to us, you see the sacrifices that I'm having to make to get you and Bridget. At that time, there was just the two of us, to get you and Bridget educated to a point where we're having to put you into a flat by yourself and your mom. So my parents, when we were young, I was 8 years old and Bridget was 10. They separated us from our mom and we lived in a flat. And my dad said, these are the type of sacrifices we're making so that when you go out into the world and go and fish the information, you've got to bring it back to the people that are less privileged enough to be able to get that information. So I think that's my why. I think there's a saying that says malapa lekani, and you being a Xhosa woman, if I could maybe explain it even for everybody else that might not understand, I know that you definitely get it, but sometimes we have to understand that we don't come from the same homes, we don't come from the same privilege, we don't come from the same experiences, we don't come from the same exposure. So often what you know as Ugqina and what I know may be two different things. And how great would it be for Ugqina to share what she knows and for Nicolette to share what she knows, and all of a sudden we've enriched each other with so much information, because there's no one person who knows everything, guys, so I think it's important to make sure whatever you are learning at all time, impart it to somebody. Those who have ears will hear, and that's the most important thing.
And so who has had the biggest impact then on your life when it comes to money? Like, who has taught you like the greatest lesson about money?
I think mistakes. I think it would be unfair for me to even say there's a specific person, because I think we grow up in those households where our parents are in survival mode, financially. So our parents are trying to get us educated. Our parents are trying to make sure we're comfortable. My dad, for the longest time, did not know how to say I love you. His I love you was, I'm providing for you. I'm making sure you've got a bed. I'm making sure that you're going to a good school. I'm making sure that you guys have clothes on your back. Even if it's the clothes that he chooses, he is making sure that we've got all those things. So I don't think my parents had the opportune time to be able to sit us down and say, this is a budget. This is what saving looks like. This is what investing looks like. In actual fact, I grew up in a household which education at its formal structure was what we pushed, or what my parents pushed. So money was never a thing that we were going to be taught. What I do remember distinctly, Sisigcina, was the fact that we used to drive past this one road, and my father would point out at these young children who were working at the compounds and said, without school, you will end up here. As narrow-minded as it may sound right now, it for him, it was the fear speaking to say, I need you guys to get educated, to give yourself a chance in life. But the unfortunate thing is that when you are so focused on that, there is an opportunity, or there is going to be a missed opportunity of being able to educate your children on the social things. And money is part of the social things, as much as we'd like to pretend like it's not. Money changes your social status. Money all of a sudden socially gets you into doors that you might not have been able to get into. Money ultimately is access and opportunity. And most of the time, as human beings, one of our primal needs is to be socially acceptable, So I didn't get that chance that my parents would teach me. Of course, we all know how the story goes in terms of the curriculum in South Africa. In actual fact, it's not just South Africa, it's globally. at very base in grade 7 EMS, you'll get taught about banking and saving and all that stuff. So there isn't really a structure where there is somebody who's teaching you. And so for most of us, I mean, at my big age, it was learning through the fire, you know, the baptism of fire. You are learning through as you are making the mistake, and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm not going in the right direction." And ultimately, that has been my biggest teacher of money.
Yeah. So you know, imali like is such a contentious issue. It is so like, I mean, in some parts of the world, and I'd like to believe even with the older generation, money was not a subject that's like discussed in the household. It's not talked about. We don't discuss at work how much you earn versus how much I earn. We kind of not in that space, but we're seeing more and more, people, we're getting comfortable to talk about money because we need to, know how to access this money. We need to know how to, like just live with money. But now, Nicolette, like, okay, so I'm just going to ask you actually, before I get into that question, what is your relationship with money now? Like, is money like just a means to an end for you? Is money like something that you value, like you need money? What is your relationship really just around money?
I think to be quite honest, the most honest answer I can give you, Gina, is that I actually, to be quite honest, don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because I'm in a space in my life where if I were to take away the money that I have, I always ask myself, would I survive? And I've been asking myself that question for a very long time now, because I've been saying, do you really have a good relationship with money, or are you blessed and privileged that you are in a space where you do have money in abundance and therefore you look like you are financially savvy? Do you get what I'm saying? I may know the theory. I understand the theory. I get it. But it is easier for somebody who has money to save. It's easier for somebody who has money to be able to invest in assets that are going to acquire income. It's easier, and we can't run away from that. Now, the question is, and I always say to people, it's not about who is Gina when she has money. We have to ask, who is Gina when she doesn't have money? That's when we realize that you do have a great relationship with money. You do not have your worth. You do not have your status. You do not have your identity attached to money. That's when we start understanding what is the character of Ugcina really. And I think for me, I moved from a space where I didn't have anything, right? But I was so wholly focused on getting that I don't think I had enough time to establish a proper relationship with money. So the question every time I get asked, what is your relationship with money? I always say it's progressive, because andazi, because it's that thing of, you know, a person, you say, oh, my boyfriend is so kind, my boyfriend is so nice, my partner is so considerate, my partner thinks of me. Let's wait until the day when he does not have the choice to be considerate. Will he still choose being considerate? And I think that is ultimately when you know what your actual relationship with anything is. So I am the one thing I don't fear is losing everything I've got. I don't fear that, right? Because I do believe that I've got the fundamentals to be able to pick up and build again. However, from a behavior perspective and from an emotional perspective, that's where I can't answer for myself, because I don't know. Because if will I be able to come back mentally? Do I have the emotional intelligence to be able to come back? I have the tools. I know exactly how to build again. But do I have the emotional stability to be able to do that? And that is what the relationship with money comes down to. It's what am I as Nicolette attaching money to me right now. It's easy to just put a cover over it right now when I actually have the money.
True. And so what are those fundamentals then? Like, what are the basics of basics that we should know about money?
Look, I think the beauty of money is that it's, I always, and you'll see even in my book, I liken money to a soccer game. And I say the rules of soccer don't change. They may be tweaked here and there. They bring in VAR, whatever, VAR. So they tweak them to make things a little bit better. But the rules, they're the same. You got to kick a ball. You got to pass it on. and you've got to score a goal. And you've got to score it without being offside. And that's really what it is. And you win a game. And here's the unfortunate thing that people don't get. You win a soccer game from scoring goals. You don't win from playing the best soccer.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether you play the best soccer or not. You can leave a field having been the team that played quality soccer, but did you score goals? And that's ultimately the same thing with money. If you know the rules, you will ultimately make money. If you understand the rules of money, you will make your money. However, it's not the hardest worker that's going to make money. And that's the unfortunate thing. You can be the street sweeper. Uvuke ngo 4 a.m. exen, your sweeper is street. And you can be a CEO that sits under a roof with an aircon. And all you got to do is just sign deals every day. And you will earn far more money than the street sweeper. And that's the unfortunate thing, is that the one thing that we don't understand about money is that money is where people split with value. Value is what we should be thinking of at all times. Now, the rules of value do change. The rules of value say Utina today can look like a different Gina tomorrow. Whether you like it or not. Whether I like it or not. So the rules of value stay the same. So if you want to come down to the basics of money, they have never changed. They have stayed the same. But the rules of what people perceive as value, that's where things change. So even you can still play the game of soccer with the same rules, but if people place value on scoring goals, that's what you've got to follow. That's the approach. So it comes to money, it says you can follow the rules of money, but where are people placing a value of imali? That's what you've got to figure out. So I always say to people, when we talk about having the tools, the first step is understanding what the rules are. Because have you, and I always make this example. I'm like, have you ever played 30 seconds with somebody who doesn't understand the rules? Because first of all, they don't understand that the value of the game is placed in time. You've got to do things quickly and swiftly. And when you are explaining the terms on the card, you've got to do it in such a manner that you don't complicate things for your team. So simplicity is important, efficiency is important, and quickness is important. Because you've got 4 terms to go through on a card. You can't spend 30 seconds explaining one term on a card in 30 seconds. Now, the rest of us who are playing with you are looking at you and we're like, making you anxious now. Do you understand? And everything you know goes out the window. So it's the same thing when it comes to money. You've got to make sure that you've got at least the fundamentals right, so that wherever the value crosses, where there's an exchange of money, then you know that you've got and what exactly is that you are trying to do. And that's ultimately
what are those fundamentals then, Nicolette? What are those fundamentals?
I think one of the biggest fundamentals that a lot of people like to pretend like we don't understand is you can't, if I give you a basket with 6 apples, you can't eat 7 apples. I'm an apple, I 7, una 6. I've given you a basket with 6 apples. You eat the apples that you've got. Now you have a choice to eat all the apples that you've got, and then tomorrow worry about where you're going to get the next apples. Or you can eat 3 apples and say, the other 3 apples, instead of eating them, I'm going to plant them in the ground so that they become apple trees. And now the future of my eating apples has been secured. That's the most fundamental rule when it comes to money, is you can't spend what you don't have. But we then extend it and say, Trina, even the things that you have, you've got to remember tomorrow. You've got to remember, Uguti, even when you are spending what you've got today, naksasa, spend. So do you have a guarantee that you have what you need for tomorrow? If you do not have the apples for tomorrow, then you've got to put those apples in the ground so that they can thingy. And then every other fundamental comes around that concept. You've got to now protect the apple trees. You've got to protect the person that gives you ama apula. Now you've got to protect me because remember, I'm giving you apples. So I'm quite an important part of your life. So that's why I say all the other fundamentals of the tools of how you manage your money come after that. It's about now saying, okay, my apple tree bears 10 fruits per month, so I can only eat, how many apples can I allocate to eating? How many apples can I allocate to putting away, to replanting? And that's ultimately what it is, you know? And I think people try to complicate this concept because sometimes, and I'm going to be very frank with you, Gina, because at the same time that I'm on this live, I think emotionally I am trying to address certain situations that have happened in the last couple of weeks, right? One of the things we do, especially as South Africans coming from a very poor background, is that we try to conflate money with emotion. Money does not care for your emotion. Money does not care that when you feel sorry because you come from a previously disadvantaged house. I can assure you that if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do, you are still going to perpetuate poverty. And that's the unfortunate thing. We can't sit on lives like this, Dina. We can't sit on Twitter. We can't sit on Facebook and think we're going to solve the poverty issue we've got in South Africa by ukuluma. It is not going to happen. It will only happen by ensuring that the people that we need to, whose lives we need to change, are educated about the fact that even the little that you've got, at some point, that little needs to be split for you to secure tomorrow. And that's the ultimate. That's really what it comes down to. Now, the one thing that I find that South Africa has not grasped is simply the fact that in South Africa, we have gone over and beyond to teach people how to spend money instead of teaching people how to make money. Now, that's ultimately where we are at a crossroad, because you cannot fix the poverty issue if you don't teach people how to fish. You can't. It doesn't matter. Because ultimately, when I say to you, Gina, go and buy assets, you're going to say to me, I'm underpaid. Now, I'm saying that underpaid needs to change, because we cannot continue to have South Africans that are underpaid. The problem is, the reason why they stay underpaid is because we've made people believe that a job is the only way to make money. And it's not. And that is where we need to change things in this country.
Sure, I'm totally with you on that one. It's so powerful. And the narrative that I'm also trying to build around the small business runway is that we can all have a hustle. You know, we can all have some kind of business. I don't believe everybody is destined for like full-time entrepreneurship, but you can definitely have a side hustle. And so I think that is so powerful. We need to know how to make money.
Yes. But let me throw something in there, Trina. As a human being, and I fully agree with you on the notion of everybody cannot be 100% entrepreneurs. But the problem is that, you see, here's one of the things that we love to do as human beings. We like to box concepts. Because now, we entrepreneur. It means that you have to be a pure entrepreneurship, entrepreneur, as a purity. What we don't want to acknowledge is the fact that even as an employee, you are ultimately an entrepreneur. Because what you have done is you have gone to school to take one of the commodities that we all have been freely given, which is time. You have taken your time and you have decorated your time with a degree and a qualification, which is a skill. It's an expertise. So let me tell you, it doesn't matter if Uqina has a degree in medicine if Uqina does not have time to be a doctor. Doesn't matter. You can have all the degrees in the world in medication, but if you, or in medicine, but if you don't have time to be a doctor, you wasted your time studying to be to be in medicine. So one of the commodities that we all have is time. The question is, whose time is more valuable? If you hold a medical degree and I don't hold a medical degree, and both of us go and sit in front of a hiring manager for a doctor, whose time is more valuable between me and you?
The one that's got the medical.
Because that's the person that has taken a skill and has paired it with a freely available commodity that we all get when we are born, all of us. Unless there are certain circumstances that take your time away, because you tend to black out, unless you'd like to drink on the weekend, so you black out. So there's time that is now starting to be minused from your time in life. Then there are certain situations where you tie yourself up to certain things that tie up your time. So now you don't own your time anymore. So that is why it becomes so difficult for you to see yourself as an entrepreneur, because what you have allowed yourself is to take the one commodity you actually have and you've allowed to get it tied up in all sorts of things. So yes, maybe at a pure level, not all of us can become entrepreneurs, but I can assure you that all of us have something to sell, and that is our time. The question is, how are you decorating your time? And when you sit in front of a hiring manager, how are you selling that time?
Got you. Got you 100%. And so, what are the opportunities then that you've seen around money? I mean, you've talked about money. I know that you've tried some investments in the Bitcoin and all of those things. What are the opportunities around money that you've seen that if we totally like just something that we are not really aware of? What opportunities are there around money?
I like the fact that you're a business coach, and I think you and I can have a conversation around the landscape of business in South Africa. You see, there are certain things in this country that make a lot of things very difficult, right? One of those is the fact that entrepreneurship should not be for the sake of putting food on your table. You don't become an entrepreneur to put food on your table. You become an entrepreneur to solve people's problems. The moment you solve people's problems and you can scale the solution, that's how you become a billionaire. Now, the problem is we're saying to young people in this country, become an entrepreneur so that you can have an additional income stream. That's problematic on its own. It's a problem. It can't be. We cannot carry on by saying to South African entrepreneurs or young people, go into business so that you can have an additional income stream, because that person then takes their mind to a survival and a scarcity mindset. What they don't do is they don't solve problems. And if you want to become a billionaire in this country, or in fact in the world, if you want to be able to make money, you've got to understand that you've got to solve problems. Problems is what people are willing to part their money for when you bring a solution. The reason why I'm willing to pay certain things is because I recognize that those things solve a problem in my life. Now, that problem may not seem big to somebody else, but to Nicolette, I'm willing to pay for it. Give you an example. Today, I just come, as I said, when I was driving, before I sat down, I came from a chef. I went to go fetch food from her because I have a problem. I don't have time to sit down and cook. Because for me, it is a waste of my time to be standing in front of a stove. I could be using that time to be doing something else. Now it becomes a problem in my life. So I have to be willing to pay for it. Now the chef, what she has done is she has created a solution for people who do not want to cook. She is solving a problem. She is not cooking because she's trying to put food on her table. She's cooking because she's solving a problem, and in her solving a problem, money follows after. And that's where we need to start. We need to get South Africans to understand, first and foremost, the economics of time, which is what we've just spoken about. Understanding how important the commodity time that you've got. Because let me tell you, one of the things you can never get back is time. Gone is gone. The second thing we need to understand is we need South Africans to be solution-based. The moment you solve problems, the more you will not need to even go out there and look for business. You are solving a problem. You, Gina, are solving a problem. A problem currently we have in this country is the fact that entrepreneurs in this country do not know how to maneuver a business landscape. Now, as Gina, because you have a solution, you should not even need to go out there and find clients. But the unfortunate thing is that your clients need to understand they've got a problem in the first place. And many of them are not willing to admit that I actually have a problem. I'm a creative, I'm not a business person. People think that because by the virtue of you being able to draw away graphic designer, it makes you a business person. It does not. By the virtue of you knowing how to you make a dress, you're not a business person. It's as simple as that. You are not a business person until you understand the fundamentals of being in business. And it's simple, that thing. But the problem is that you and I, especially you, are in an elitist type of business where you need to behaviorally get somebody to understand that they need your solution. But let's talk about somebody that provides food. Food, we don't even think about food. We need food. So our farmers do not need to stress about finding a market, because the market is already complained about the fact that they need food. Now, the question is, are you finding scalable solutions? Because the other thing is that you may sit down with your friends and think that your business idea is so great, but it's great for you and your circle. The inconvenience is only for your circle. Now, yeah, you've got a market, it's great, but is it scalable? Eh? Let me give you. I had a friend that said to me the other day, Nicolette, I want to sell Alice bands. I said to him, I'm an Alice bands. I'm an Alice bands. She said, yeah, it'll be cute. It'll look nice. I'll create a nice. And I said, you know what? It's a good business. But remember that it is not you are not solving a problem. Not a scalable one, I promise you. Me needing to put an Alice band on my head to hold my head back is not a scalable problem. It is actually a privilege. It is an elitist problem. What you need to do is the business you need to go into is to clothe people. People need to be clothed. That is a problem. People need to have clothes. So this is why I say every time we talk about how do we make money, we always try to cut corners. Let's not cut the corners. Let's be fair and be frank. You've got to understand that you've got to be solution-based. Then there are obviously the things that you can do at a personal finance level. One of the things you've got to do is to know where your money goes. There are too many people in South Africa who do not budget at all. They don't understand the value of a budget. Now, if you don't understand the value of a budget, it is like you walking in to a shopping, a grocery shop and trying to buy groceries without a shopping list. And people will say to you, but I've been doing it for years. I can do it. I know all the things my family needs. Okay, sharp. But you're going to misuse money. I can assure you of that. That I can bet my life on. And then over and above misusing money, you're going to go over budget. Simply because you are actually failing to plan. A budget says you need to plan every single month what happens to your money, where your money goes, and you are in control of telling your money. Last month, 1,000, I sent you to DSTV. This month, I am not seeing the value of it, DSTV. So this month, it's in a piece of DSTV. But if you don't have a budget, send 1,000 to DSTV, you will keep sending it. Because you actually don't know the value that DSTV gives you. And you actually are not aware of how much money you are spending on DSTV. So a budget is the only way you are actually going to get control of your finances. And from that, that's when you now start looking at perhaps the 7R theory of you splitting your specific incomes, or you look at investing on its own. You can look at buying assets that are going to work, or you can ultimately go into a stock fail. So there are many ways in which we can make money. But ultimately, what we've also been made to believe, Gina, is that you need money to make money.
But then what do you need then? Okay, so then what do you need?
You need a solution. How long is in the Bazala South Africa? How long is in the Bazala South Africa? That's where you start. Because at the end of the day, if we're all going to sit on our fingers and say, we need money to make money, no one is going to make money. Because there's no one who's going to come and freely give you money. I can promise you that. And even I have instances where people have come to me to give me money. And I'll give you an example. I had when I was in advertising, my boss came to me and said to me, Nicolette, we want to give you some money. We want to make you our enterprise development company. That was free money. But you need to understand that a boss is not going to just walk to anybody in the office and offer them that money. They're going to walk in there and offer it to somebody that has offered them value. So even when you don't think you are creating opportunities for you to make money, you are. And that's by you becoming valuable. So it is important for you, as I go back again, this year, my entire theme is on creating value. Make yourself valuable. You are, make yourself valuable. Are you valuable that people are willing to pay money for whatever you are offering? If not, because your mindset is not there yet. You've got to become valuable. That is why they are willing to pay a CEO 6 billion rand or 6 million, whatever. And the street sweeper, they're going to pay the street sweeper 30 rand. Because let me tell you, it is easier to replace the street sweeper, but it's more difficult to replace the CEO. So where is your value as a person? Where are you placing your value? Where are you as Uqina when you sit in front of your clients who are businesses? Where do you say to them, this is where your low-hanging fruit is? It's where the value resides in their business. If a business have aina value, we have a challenge, because to be quite honest, you're going to frustrate yourself.
Yeah.
Because let me give you another example.
Yeah.
You have a friend who is a graphic designer, for instance, right? Now they are terrible at business. They're good at drawing, sketching, graphics, and all that stuff. But the reason why they don't get business is because they simply don't have the soft skills and the social skills to be able to attract clients. What we then need to say to them is, Ngani, you need to inject value back into your business by either moving away from the forefront of the business or learning the soft skills. Now, either one of those is bringing more value into the business. You are either upskilling yourself and learning soft skills and learning people skills, or you are bringing somebody that's got those skills to add more value to what you are putting in front of your clients. Now, until you do that, people will still think it's not worth it because nanoma ugcina adweba ngathi she is a peacock. Hey, attitude yakhe iyabheda man. So it doesn't matter. When I as a client come to you, I feel like I am not getting my value. Because the part that is important to me, and I go back to saying money is social. The part that is important to me and my feelings is the social aspect of you being a decent human being. Now, if you don't give me that, because that's where I have placed my value as your client.
Yeah.
If you don't give me that part, I don't care, man. Doesn't matter to me.
Loud and clear. I mean, absolutely loud and clear. So, okay, so I actually want to I'm going to challenge you here a bit, right?
Of course.
For the people that, I'm sure there are people that are like, money is not everything, you know? Money is not the world. People that have money are still depressed, etc., etc. What do you have to say to those people? What's your response to that kind of thinking?
They're absolutely correct. Money isn't everything. And money can never be everything. Can you imagine all you've got in life is money? It's not everything, but it's what money represents to you that's important. If money to you is your identity, then you want bucket loads of money. You need it. Because every time you have less money, you don't know who you are. If money is access to you, then you know exactly how to use the money to get the access that you want. But the unfortunate thing is that here's the thing. If money is you being able to buy all the things that you want in the world, you buy all the things that you want into the world, and then what? And then what happens after that? So, okay, you've got Louis Vuitton, okay. You've got Dolce & Gabbana, okay. You live in a double-story house, okay.
Now what?
Then what? So that's why I say it is very important that we as human beings don't take money as if it is the be-all and end-all of everything. However, what we are not going to pretend like it doesn't exist is what money is able to do for people. Now, I don't care who you are and what you say about money. At the end of the day, we all know that if you want your child to go to St. Stadians doesn't give about your morals and how you feel and your sentiments around money. They want your school fees, darling. If you want to fly first class, business class, to go on a holiday over the seas and go on a single island and just be with your family where nobody else is going to call you the K word on a beach, you need money, darling. And then what? So yes, money is not everything. We can all admit to that. Nobody is disputing that. Nobody ever disputes. Money is not everything, but money makes everything better. And that you cannot run away from. Money makes everything softer. money makes everything. And again.
Yeah.
You know the funny thing, Gina? It's the people that say money is not everything that make the people who have money believe that money is everything. Because it is the same people that when I arrive in my VW, they don't give me the same respect when I arrive in my Range Rover. Then they turn around and say, but money is not everything. So because you are the problem. It's like men saying we don't like slave queens because all slave queens want in a relationship is money. But who gave these slave queens money in the first place? Was it not you, my friend?
And who's dating them?
Who's dating them? Who in another relationship? It's like I now date a man who gives me money, makes my life easier by giving me money. And then I walk into the next relationship and I put down my terms and conditions to say, hello, me, I'm accustomed to a life where I get given imali. And then this person says, oh, why do you think money is everything? Huh? Sorry. Just say you are not the right person to be able to do this for me. And let me move on to the next man who is willing to give me the money. You're just not the target audience in China. And it's as simple as that. So I come back to the notion that says, if we are going to say we want to change the notion of money is not everything, then we've got to understand that we cannot treat people with respect who have money. We cannot treat people with respect based on the value of what they own, what they have access to. Because one of the thing is, abantu in life can walk around and say, I don't have a price. I don't have a price tag. I don't have you're lying. Because it's not going to come as money to you. It may come as an opportunity. It's not as if we are saying, Uguti, 10 million, but it's 10 million. Eh? You still want to associate yourself with the people that have money because that person may say to you, it's in a nai project. Sinama entrepreneurs, La Paya, Ugu Department of Economic, what forum, in Mpumalanga. Do you want to come and coach them? It may not come as a stack of money, Tina. It will come as an opportunity. And let me tell you, that opportunity sometimes can only be realized when you associate with certain people. So we've got to also understand the fact that sometimes when we make these blank statements about money is not everything, what exactly are we trying to convey? Because often I find that people, and I had the privilege of speaking at a financial conference in Botswana. And one of the ladies said she's an emotional intelligence coach. And one of the things that she said was, we as human beings have a very bad habit of mislabeling our feelings. And I didn't understand what she was saying. And I was like, I want you to understand what this woman is saying. So after the session, I went to her and I said, can you help me understand what you were saying? And she said, we are so accustomed to herd behavior. And in herd behavior, there are only 1, 2, or 3 emotions. There's anger, there's frustration, and I can't remember, and happiness, I think. And she said, sometimes ulambile, but you get angry. Sometimes you are in fear, but you get upset. Because what you are essentially doing is you are subscribing to the emotions that you think are socially acceptable for you to say. Because can you imagine my father at his big age saying to me, Nicolette, I'm scared? He won't say that. What he will rather say is he will become angry. And you know black fathers. But because they cannot, like for instance, if you go out at night and you go partying and your father gets upset, sometimes it's not because they're upset. Sometimes it's because they actually are afraid that something might happen to you. But because socially we have not made it acceptable for a man of his caliber to say, I am scared for you, he has to go to anger. So even with money, sometimes we've got to ask people, Uguti, what are you actually trying to say when you say, Uguti, umuntu, money, but money is not everything. What are you actually trying to communicate? What is the actual feeling that you are feeling at that point? Yeah, Ibon?
Yeah. Okay, I want us to talk a little bit about your book then, Nicolette. Yay. Actually, my book club, Babalo's book club, I'm sure she's watching, shout out. We actually did your book in December. Yay. So it was very exciting. But just tell us about your book. What's your move? what are the biggest, sort of, like, what are the highlights? Just highlights to anybody that's not read the book yet. Obviously, would encourage everybody to go out and actually buy the book. I believe it has been restocked now.
Yes.
What are you trying to teach us? What are the most important lessons that you just want us to grab from that book?
So the thing about finance, and I always tell people this, that I might write a book in the next 10 years and contradict myself totally in that book, right? Because the thing about finance is like going through therapy.
Yeah.
About life. You come back after 3 years, you have learned new things, you've learned new behavior, or you've worsened who you actually are, right? Then all of a sudden you start contradicting yourself in your session. And then your mentor's like, but 3 years ago you said. So for me, it was very difficult to put everything I had wanted to put into that book. So what I then decided is, you know what? Let's take the things that I know for a fact somebody can change today. And that is why at every single end of every chapter, I ask you the question, what is your move? Because what I'm saying to you is, here are the small things that I know changed my life. But let's deal with the things that you can change today, that potentially in 3 years' time, you can sing a different tune than where you are today. And one of the biggest things that for me is the key take out of the book is it does not matter, Gina, how much you know. Okay, sharp. Are you budgeting though? Oh, you know that you must have, like, and I always tell the story also. There's a young lady, I think maybe a month before we went into level lockdown, the hard lockdown, right? We were at a conference, we were talking about mental illness and finances and mental health. And she said to me, you know what? I'm actually at a position where I've been looking at my finances and I want to get peace of mind. So I want to get the different products that give me that peace of mind. So one of those things that she wanted to get was a retrenchment cover. And she just never got to it. Got locked down, company retrenched. She never got to the one thing that she knew she had made peace. You see, the one thing that I always tell people is, I'm not going to tell you what products to get, because that's not my job. Because it doesn't matter. If you don't know why you must get a product, you are as good as not having it. But when you know why you must get a certain product, then you know how to use that product. So she had made peace with the fact that she knew why she needed to get a retrenchment cover. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, she never got to do it. Then hard lockdown happens. Hard lockdown, whatever it was called, happens.
Yeah.
She gets retrenched. She's got no retrenchment cover. And that is ultimately what I always say. I say it does not matter how much you know. When it comes to personal finance and managing your money, it is 80% what you do and 20% what you know. Because even people that do 20% will know less than you. Let me give you an example. Bakhona abafundi finance. Bakhona. There are many of them. They are CAs, they are financial managers, but they will never be able to be who and what the people who actually do what they need to do with their finances do. They'll never get there. They will not drive the cars they want. They will not live in the homes they want. You know why? Because they think it's 80% the knowledge and 20% what they do. It's not. Knowledge does not miraculously help you manage your finances, Ngani. It does not. I can assure you of that. So yeah, it's great that you've got your CA designation. It's great that you are a manager, a financial advisor. It's great, but what are you doing with the information, Sisi? Because what we need to see is you putting it into action so that we can say, "Hey man, here we are, budget lo Satan." And it's a money budget, okay, because it keep our results. But you can come and tell us every day, woman in front of us, we had a speech about how important budgeting is and why we need to budget. And oh my goodness, budgeting is such an important thing. Are you budgeting?
Yeah.
Is it yielding results for you? So it doesn't matter what you know. You can read all the books. You can read Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can read The Millionaire Next Door. You can read What's Your Move by Nicolette. You can read Manage Your Money Like a Fucking Adult by Sam. You can read You Are Not Poor, You Are Pretty Rich by Mapalo. If you don't do what the books say, hey man, it don't matter, man. So that for me is the key takeout of the book, is that acquired knowledge is not powerful until it becomes applied knowledge. And that's all you've got to do. You've got to take the knowledge that you've understood, as basic as it is, and don't put yourself in a situation where you complicate things and overcomplicate things. Things don't need to be complicated. Take it as it is. Take it as you are seeing it. Question whether it is relevant for your life and put it into practice. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. You may not know where to budget. You may not know dividend shares. You may not know real estate investment trusts. There are many things that you may not know. But if you're doing the fundamental, and you're taking money that you make today and you put it away somewhere, I can assure you that you are in a better standing than somebody that knows all about Amarit, all about shares. They know all the information. They're like a walking, talking encyclopedia of financial information, but dololo action. Because they're not putting it into action, so it doesn't matter.
So now, there are a couple of people that are actually asking, Nicolette, do you offer any like mentorship?
I don't. So a couple of years ago, I was a teacher, right? And I will never forget the day I heard myself from a child. I heard my voice. And that was the day I knew how much influence I had on a child. Now, human beings are like children. It is very powerful to have that type of influence over someone's life. Therefore, you need to be mentally ready to be someone's mentor. You need to understand that at some level, and as much as people will say to you, and this is the other thing that people love saying, mentorship is not about taking over your life. Mentorship is not about telling you what to do. It is. Let's just be honest. It is. Because the person holds you to such high esteem that everything that you say, they believe. It's a fact. And the thing is, we like to run away from things because we want to make things all complicated. No. You've got to understand the higher power that you are taking into somebody's life when you decide to be a mentor. Now, I don't have that capacity. I don't have it for myself. There are days when I lie in bed and I don't want to get up. And no matter how much people can send me motivational messages, I'm not getting up. I'm tired. I am stressed. I'm in a boyfriend. I'm stressed. Now, I must be the same person that on that day, I must be able to wake somebody up and say, Tali, go get it. I don't have that capacity, guys. I don't want to lie to you. I'm human. I'm a human being first, before I am anything else. And at my level of being a human being, I am heavily flawed, extremely flawed. And in my flaws, I have to acknowledge that perhaps maybe at the stage that I am in right now, in as much as having mentees would make me seem like this amazing human being, I don't have the capacity to take up such a spiritual role. It is an absolutely spiritual role to mentor somebody. Because to be quite honest, as I said from the beginning, that person puts you on a pedestal. So I would rather approach mentorship in a different manner, in a different light. And I say, let me mentor from afar. Take what you take from me and take the mistakes I also make, so that you can remember that I am a human. I want you to remember at all times that Nicolette is also human. So that when I do make mistakes, you can forgive me. So that you don't put me on a pedestal. I just become one of those people that you like, hey man, Nicolette, sometimes she makes sense, sometimes we laugh. So because I am not that close to her, let me take what she says that works for me and leave everything else. And that's ultimately where I am with mentorship. I think I need to mentally grow. I think I need to leave the public. Remember, here's another thing we're having with my co-host, a conversation I was having with my co-host. And we're talking about the fact that people don't realize how difficult it is to be in the public space.
How difficult is it?
It is difficult.
How difficult is it?
It is actually the most emotionally draining thing that you can ever do, because you will never be able to satisfy people. If you don't, if you close yourself off, Uzoti, she's not authentic. She's not real. If you open yourself up, you open yourself up also to be criticized and to be constantly have your flaws pointed out to you. Now, I don't care who you are. Nobody wants to live a life where they're constantly reminded of the type of person they might have been, the type of person they are, where they are aware of the fact that they've got shortcomings in certain areas. I don't need you to keep reminding me of that. But people in the public space seem to be at the end or receive the short end of the stick when it comes to constantly being told about how you are flawed in one way or another. Then people will say to me, yeah, but you must remember that you are influential and people look up to you. Yeah, trust me, I do know that. But let me tell you, I look up to people that are in the corporate space. And let me tell you what happens when they have an evaluation. It only happens between them and their line manager. But it happens in public spaces. And I must be okay with it. Then I'm expected to have the emotional intelligence to keep quiet or to respond calmly or to be polite. No, guys, it's unfair. And then you get to a point. For instance, I had a little stint that just happened now. And with that stint, one of the things I realized about myself that I quickly had to go to my therapist and say was the fact that I was at so much peace. The last time something like this happened on social media, I cried my eyes out. I cried my eyes. I called my parents. I said, I can't do this. Like, it was a nightmare. This time, you're doing that thing again where you come at me. But I worried about it. So I went to my therapist and I said, I'm worried that I'm becoming hardened. And if I'm going to be hardened, I'm going to be insensitive. I'm going to lose my humility. And I'm going to be arrogant. Because that's what society expects now, for us to be able to survive the kicking and the throwing of stones at us. We must now be hardened. And then that sensitivity I possess, I have to lose it, because who must I protect first? As a human being, you protect yourself first. So even now, the job that I do that requires so much humility and requires so much passion and requires so much patience with people, I now no longer have. Because every single person who even questions, who even critiques, not from malice, I have to put up my defenses immediately. So if you as Gcina, like you did now, and say, let me challenge you, Nicolette, immediately in my head, I must now believe Gcina, challenge. Do you understand? Because now it's no longer a two-way conversation. Because when it was a two-way conversation and people were going at me, people said to me, have the emotional intelligence to keep quiet. You want me to keep quiet when people are throwing stones at me? Because I'm influential and anything that I say is going to reflect badly on my reputation. Then the day you want to now engage with me, I must openly have a conversation with you. So it's hard, guys. It is extreme. I don't wish it on anyone. In actual fact, I was having a conversation with a guy that I was in a talking stage with, and I said, I need to know whether this relationship is going somewhere, not because I'm trying to rush us, but because I need to make a decision of whether I leave the limelight so that I can solely concentrate on us. Because the moment I'm in the limelight, any person that I'm in a relationship with becomes a full package with me. Now it's no longer my life, but however, all our lives now are put in this thing. Have you seen how people, as Gcina, you would be the person that let's say you've made a mistake, but uzolandwa nge-out yakho, ngomntwana wakho, ngumzali wakho. Guys.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So we now, at some level, have to start making shifts in our own lives so that we can even accommodate our future plans now. I've got to leave the job that I love doing now so that I can accommodate starting a family, having a solid relationship, getting married, so that I can protect my loved ones. Because the field is not fair, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I guess it comes with the territory. Are all your friends rich? Or do all your friends have money?
Not yet. But
not yet.
But it is my life's mission to ensure that every single person who is in close proximity with me is in a space where they are financially sound. And it's funny because I put up the quote Jaga Jay-Z the other day, say success here is measured by how many people around you are successful. And then after I put it up, I was like, okay, it's nice to put out these quotes. Are they true though to your life? And then I went through my list of friends and I was like, Mugel.
Some of them need work.
Une confidence the quote, yes, une confidence because bangakuza manje but show us your friends. Will they be the friends who are successful? So I have then made it my life's mission to say, my friends who are, see, here's the other thing, Lena, and we know this. This word friend is very loosely, like how Lana is very loose. You know? And my friends who are my real friends know, I always say to them, you're no longer my friends, you've graduated to my siblings now. And I will treat you the way I treat my siblings. So when you get your salary, I'm about to ask you, sorry, hello, we investile, hello, this year, how are we making money? All of them. So if you are my friend and I have not asked you this question, just know, Guti, we are using that loose definition of friendship, Ngani.
Wow. Gee whiz, Nicolette, you know what? I mean, you're an inspiration to many, and I think also myself. I wonder if there's any possibility that we can actually, in fact, we will find some projects to work on. I think there's so much value in the work that you're doing, and I wanna, let's align. Let's make sure that we, you know, change the narrative. You are strong, girl, because already you're saying, like, you talk about the limelight. Me, when I get 10 inboxes about help me grow my business, I'm like, oh my word, guys, like, there's no savior. Like, nobody's gonna come and be like, there you go, your business is, you know, you need to work on it, you need to put your ideas out there, you need to start, do something, and then we can work on what you've done, you know. You have no idea how many people are like, I've got this idea, I've got that idea, but it's like, can you start the idea? So then we can then work on how to actually improve on the idea, you know. And so, you are absolutely an amazing, amazing person, at least from far. I'm kidding, but this is definitely not the last. And you're funny, I can see.
Yes, none of my friends want to admit to the fact that I'm funny. It really frustrates me, and I'm like, you know what? This year, Zonenzela money comedy. I'm going to be a stand-up comedian that does comedy around money. Because some of them don't believe good I'm funny. Even the people I date don't believe I'm funny. Guys, yes, I'm a vibe. I'm a vibe. But I'm also a Virgo, so I'm very high. And I think that's
damn.
Thing, you know,
I'm also a Virgo.
And you know us. We are hypercritical. And my therapist explains it so well to me. She says, Nicolette, your big problem is that you have expectations of people, and when they don't live up to those expectations, you dismiss them. And it's a fact, I do, because I'm just like, but I can see what you can do. I can see how amazing you can be. Why don't you see it for yourself? And then Mangwana I must say because we're not gonna get anywhere here. So being a Virgo, and I think people don't realize how difficult it is, and people may think we're making excuses, but guys, yes, it's hard to be a Virgo, guys. Yes, it is.
Mamela, we can go on and on, I'm sure. You know what, Nicolette, thank you so much for this opportunity. We have to wrap it up. I think we've just crossed the hour mark, so we have to wrap it up. Please do me a favor and actually save this live.
You know that,
and then
I was about to say, you know that thingy doesn't allow you to save anymore. Or I at least don't know
Instagram.
How to, yeah, so I know you can put it on IG. So I'll put it on IG, and then what I do is I screen record.
Okay, yes. So can you put it on IG then? Can you put it on IG? Then I can also copy the link and have access to it. Yeah, but you've been amazing. Thank you so much. Keep doing the work that you're doing. It's definitely not the last. To you, salute, man. And everybody that's joined us on this live, thank you for your comments. Thank you for your sharing. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts. I was reading all the comments, but I mean, selfishly, these lives, I do them for me because I learn so much, and I make notes because I want to make sure that, I'm enriched when I have a conversation. I'm not just talking just to, faff and be nice on IG. I really want to, just edify my life. And so thank you so much for sharing so openly and freely. Even with your humor, I think it's had us entertained for the this whole hour. And so I can't thank you enough, Nicolette. It's time to go, girl. Go do your thing. Go make that money so that I can meet you at the top. Yeah?
Babes, listen, we are going to the top together. Yabona manje silana yes. But now, mouse and I'm manje. Ngiyawubona again. Quick verse. I guess kune general and what's the other one? I can't remember what it is. So
yes, yeah.
we can take a more the VIP. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And you know what? You guys have a very tough job of changing the entrepreneurial landscape in this country. Because it's not by it wasn't by chance that we got to a part where South Africans or young South Africans think that entrepreneurship is supposed to put income into their hands. So there is a big job of first having to jump that hurdle of, yes, it will put money into your account, but you've got to understand that you've got to create solutions. So you've got a very big job, and ultimately we know that the economy of this country is at the bare hands of people like you, Tina. So we appreciate what you do. I appreciate your time. I appreciate this live. Thank you very much, and be blessed in 2021. And ultimately, remember, you can write the script.
Yes.
That's always about to change, but you can write it. So
you can write it. Really? Yeah. What's your move? Cheers, guys. Yes. Salute, man.
Okay, so where is save? Ooh, hey. Okay. Yeah, but save it.